Hello, this is Deborah with Black Education TV. Now, last year, my husband and I decided that we were going to have our daughter Sophia take college classes on education so that she can become an educator. We've also decided that our daughter Rebecca will do the same when she graduates, which will be very soon. There are reasons that we've decided to do this, which I'll discuss in just a moment. During the course of their home education, they've learned a lot of things. Computer technology, video editing is included in that, graphics design, audio editing, just a number of different programs they've learned to work with, animation, and just a number of other projects or programs as well. Graphics design, I don't know if I already named that. I probably did, but that's one of the things that they've learned to do as well. They create music and they know how to work on websites. They're not real extensive in that, but the beginning stages of doing so. But we wanted them to focus on education for a really, really good reason. There is an increasing hostile environment in the public school system, coming from teachers and students. There's an overall hostile and violent environment. And anyone who can defend public education over home education, I just don't know what planet they're living on. Because, again, it's very hostile, it's very uncertain, it's unbalanced. And statistics show that American children, the students, are not learning. There were a couple of 2020 exposés where John Stossel actually showed how American students cannot even compare to children in other nations. And they determined that even the dumbest child in some of these other nations is smarter than what America considers their smartest children to be. They made a very, very comprehensive comparison between American students and other students abroad. And the program was called Stupid in America. Okay, that's just one part of it. But with home education, you are able to gear your children's learning towards things that matter. You see, not asking them what was Abraham Lincoln's wife's name. You see, questions that mean nothing, that are not helping you in education, you see. But another reason why we decided to have them study education to become teachers is because when they start their own family, when they get married and they start having children, this gives them more leverage on being their children's instructors or teachers or educators. You see, there seems to be an increasing resistance to home education where they're pulling out incidents of tragedies over here and tragedies over there and trying to label the whole homeschool market or demographic with the same nonsense. Now, we see a lot of things happening in public education, a lot of things happening, a lot of violence, children coming to school with all kinds of problems and issues from home, parents doing things or not even caring if their children are learning. It's just a number of things going on. But all of this attention that we're starting to see on home education because of a few cases that you see here and there that don't even compare with the tragedies in those that are educated in the public school system. But what our thoughts were, my husband and I, what we thought was that having our children study to become educators or teachers themselves, taking college courses for that, gives them greater leverage. Again, as I stated, greater leverage when they have their own children and they begin to homeschool. There's always this question whether or not homeschool children are getting enough, whether they're learning enough. And I find it very hypocritical of a public school system or the public school system to question how well a homeschool child is educated when statistics show that education here in America is plummeting fast, that the children are not learning. There have been studies that show that children or students are entering into college illiterate, unable to read. Also, their math skills are basic general math skills. Many of them don't know how to do simple middle school math. But yet, the system that is putting out this type of statistic or producing these type of students is responsible for checking those that are privately homeschooled. You see, it really makes no sense whatsoever. But this is what we see happening. Now, I know that there are some amazing teachers out there who really care about their children learning. And as I've stated before in a previous video, I do understand the tremendous amount of stress that teachers are under because parents are, whether you want to own it or not, parents are sending their kids to school that are very misbehaved. I'm trying to get out of saying kids, they're children, okay? A lot of parents send their children to school knowing that they have severe behavioral problems, severe, and they are just simply glad to get them out of their hair. So these children are being bounced around from home to school, home to school, home to school to streets, home to school to streets, streets to home to school. And they're just being bounced around in all of these different environments, and their attitudes are getting increasingly rebellious. And so what it creates is a hostile environment to where teachers feel like, I'm not going to tolerate this, so they have no interest in teaching groups of students that behave this way. But then you have situations where you have teachers who just from Jump Street don't care if the kids learn or not. There have been incidents caught on tape where the teachers are saying that they're just there for a paycheck. You see, that they really don't care if the kids learn or not. And so there are so many dynamics here in this whole discussion that I'm having, or should I say this whole video that I'm having, because you can't have a discussion by yourself, right? You all know what I'm trying to say here. But there are so many reasons why I think it's important that we think towards the future as it relates to our children. Because the system as we know it is falling fast in every arena, not just education, but financial markets, the government, all kinds of things are just failing fast. And so we've got to start thinking about the future and how we're going to form our future and form the future for our children. I thought it was very important that we get our daughters into education because we already know the microscope that homeschoolers are under from time to time because the system is, they feel like they're losing money if your children are not in the school because they get federal dollars or state dollars, one or the other, for having students in the school. And so for them, the motivation is mostly the dollar sign that is above your kid's head or your student's head. The motivation is not, oh, I'm so anxious to teach these children. I want them to learn everything. I want them to be super smart. And I'm not saying that that's across the board. Some teachers do care about that, but some do not. Some only see dollar signs. That's all they see. That's all they desire. And so with that, we want our daughters, and I would encourage some of you as well, if you are going to encourage your children to homeschool when they are married, this might be something you want them to do, a direction you want them to go in. Not that they're going to go and actually get jobs in the public school system or anything like that, but to have that degree under their belt as leverage for when they do decide to homeschool, I think is a great idea. It's just something we thought about, something we've put into action. And we believe we're going to have our daughter, Rebecca and Hannah, follow in Sophia's footsteps on that as well. It's just something to think about, family, because again, this public school system is failing, but they are still propping it up like it's the best thing or the best choice for your children, you see. And a lot of parents feel like that's their only choice. Some of them don't feel confident enough to homeschool, you see. So this is my encouragement to you, is to have your children take up education, some form of education classes in college, so that they will have the leverage they need to homeschool their children with confidence and not be concerned about whether or not they're getting enough. Every child learns at a different pace. When we had our older children, we really, really pushed them hard. And with our younger children, we learned that the push, you don't have to push them so hard. They're in a more comfortable environment. They actually push back when you push them too hard. And they'll push back with crying or something like that. But when you allow them to learn at a pace that's comfortable for them, they actually learn better. I mean, we have two of our younger children right now. One of them, being 6 years old, she's excited to learn. I mean, she's constantly all day wanting schoolwork. I mean, she comes to you. I mean, even after school is over, she comes to you and she wants more schoolwork. It's kind of funny. She even wanted me to do a worksheet for her, because she sometimes she'll put her hair in her mouth and she's chewing on a braid. And I say, don't chew on your hair. You see, she says, Mommy, can you make me a worksheet that says I will not chew on my hair, or I will not put my hair in my mouth? She wanted me to actually make a worksheet saying I will not put my hair in my mouth. And so constantly she's asking, what does this say? Or she'll find something and she'll come and read it to you. Whereas another one of my younger children, my 8-year-old, she gets really motivated when she's trying to outdo the 6-year-old. But if she's not trying to outdo her, she's more relaxed. But she doesn't want the 6-year-old to outdo her, so that kind of encourages her to do more. You see, it's that challenging effect there. But without that challenge, sometimes she'll just kind of go at a pace that is very, very comfortable for her, but she'll try to pick up that pace when she's being challenged by a 6-year-old. You see what I mean? So every child learns at different paces. And I think having a homeschool environment is better because your children don't feel the stress of bullying. As I stated once before, one of my viewers actually said that when they go to school in Chicago, they felt like it's the survival of the fittest, whether you're going to defend yourself and live or you're going to go and learn. And that is difficult to learn in a hostile environment, you see. But when you're in a more relaxed environment where you're able to get one-on-one attention, Mommy or Daddy, can you show me how to do this again? Or can you explain this again? Or can you use this word in the sentence? Mommy, can you use that word in the sentence? I mean, things of that nature can take place in a homeschool environment, whereas I've heard of kids in public school not getting that option, not even getting the option to get one-on-one attention or even having their question addressed, you see. So I just wanted to talk about that briefly, why we put our daughter Sophia in college for education. And we'll probably have some of our other girls follow suit as well. Just a thought, family. And with that, I will say shalom.